Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I have two blended Scotch whiskeys. This is King Robert II. Now, there's three King Robert II Scotch whiskeys. There's this one I have, the triple wood, just basic, three different types of wood. Uh, but no age statement, so it's at least 3 years. But it's just the basic model. I don't know how else to say it. There's also a 12-year age and a 15-year age. I've not seen those. There's a green label, and I think the other one's a purple label. This is the black label. Comes from Ian McCleod Company. Don't know when it was introduced. Never could find a trademark, any trademark information on it. And it doesn't look like it has a indication that it is trademarked, actually. So that's probably why I can't find any trademark data. There's no indication saying registered U.S. trademark office. I've seen that happen before with liquor where they don't have a trademark. And I guess they're just assuming no one's going to try to use it. Okay, well, however you want to run it, boy. Distilled, blended, and bottled in Scotland. Ian McCleod Distillers. So this is made for Ian McCleod Distillers. It's 40% alcohol. I bought this at World of Beverage in Georgia in 2018. All right, so $17.99 on sale. Big glass handle bottle. So I figured that was a good deal, and it was. Now here's Trader Joe's blended Scotch whiskey. Obviously, Trader Joe's does not own distilleries. Trader Joe's is a grocery store chain, which in Louisiana does sell liquor, as evidenced by me holding a bottle of Trader Joe's liquor. Blended Scotch whiskey, aged 3 years. Now, in some states, you can't even buy beer at Trader Joe's or wine. But in Louisiana, we get beer, wine, and liquor. Well, at least in Metairie. I don't think the Baton Rouge store sells liquor, but they might have changed that because I think the law got changed in Baton Rouge. But that's a different story for a different video. We don't know who makes this for Trader Joe's. We know it's bottled in Scotland. We know it's aged 3 years, and we don't know anything else. All right. Well, what we do know is that King Robert II is a line of liquor. It's not just Scotch. They make 3 different Scotch versions, at least 3. There may be a travel exclusive also that they're not showing at this time. But so that's 3. They make a King Robert II gin. That's 4. A vodka, that's 5. And a rum, that's 6. And it might be silver and gold rum, so 7. But anyway, they make a lot of King Robert II. You see this with a lot of products where they just have a whole line across the board, different liquors under the same brand name, like Bankers Club. Bankers Club gin, Bankers Club rum, Bankers Club blended whiskey, blended Scotch whiskey. Or you see Fleischmann's, same thing, Fleischmann's, or McCormick gin, McCormick rum, McCormick vodka, and so forth. All right, anyway, who's going to win? I don't know. I would say that the commonality here is that they both have kind of basic flavors, not off-putting flavors or aromas by any means, but nothing spectacular. But then you're probably thinking, yeah, but for that price, why would it be spectacular? So they're running about the same price per ounce. So yeah, they're not going to be spectacular, but as long as they're not nasty, I can live with that. So I bought something cheap and it's not nasty, so I win. You win. You buy it real cut rate price. It's not gross or disgusting, and in fact, it tastes pretty good. Yeah, so you've won the battle. All right. Doesn't always happen, but it usually happens actually. Funny thing about the world of liquor, you can buy some really cheapo stuff It's pretty good. Now, there are anomalies. They have anomalies. You know, you'll run across some that's just ghastly, but it's rare. And my experience is rare. Beer. Now, wine, I've usually had the same experience with wine. That's like the cheapest wines I find, they taste good. That's me speaking. I can't speak for others. Now this does not have a built-in pourer, so it's going to chug a lug. I got to watch that. I don't want it splashing everywhere. Now, when you get the ones with the built-in pourer, it comes out so even flow, but you got to watch it though, because you pour too much. It'll just come out and you over pour. Now with beer, that's a different story. Over the years, I've bought some beer brands that were so inexpensive, and they were so bad. Basically undrinkable. I dumped out 2 cans of Boxer Lager. Although to be fair, it was right after the Hurricane Isaac, and we didn't have electricity for days and days, and I had it. I just couldn't get it cool enough. I don't know. I had ice, but I don't know. I just could not get it cool enough, and and with that stuff, any kind of warmth, it was just terrible. And then the Jaguar malt liquor, I poured that out as well. But they were bad. They're just bad, you know. But that's an example. Or Milwaukee Special Reserve and Milwaukee Special Reserve Ice. Whether those are still made, I do not know. They were super cheap and they were super terrible. And I mean terrible. They just tasted bad. There was no, you couldn't really. Now, the Boxer Lager, when I had it cold, right as the hurricane was going on, I did the video during the hurricane. If you watch the video, the hurricane's going on. You want to watch somebody do a beer review during the hurricane. But I thought it'd be a novelty act. You know what I'm saying? Like dangerous and stupid in a way. But it was only a category, you say only a category 1 hurricane that actually flooded half this town. And I mean, ruined houses because it got stuck. It didn't move for 24 hours. Just sitting here, you know, doing that. And so the wind damage was minimal, but the water damage was incredible. But when I started the video, it was cool out the ice, out the refrigerator, I meant to say. But I still could only give it a C. I said, you know, it's fair, it's average. But any kind of warmth got added to it. It was just unbearable. So that's an example of, you can buy super cheap beers. Sometimes you don't really get those in Louisiana. They tried selling those, but they never made it. People, even though Louisiana is a football state, well, really Louisiana is a drinking state with a football problem. Even though Louisiana is a drinking state with a football problem, those super cut rate brands just did not make it here. Now, I was not old enough to drink, and even when I was old enough to drink alcohol, I wasn't interested in alcohol. I didn't start tasting beer until February 1996. So, I don't know what the Katz and Bestoff beer tastes like. I don't know what Schwegmann's beer tasted like. I don't know what Mr. Thrifty tasted like. These were all really low-grade beers made by Falstaff for different grocery chains. And I guess after Falstaff closed down their last brewery in 1990, I guess Pabst took up the mission. You know, they took up. We're going to take up the mantle of really cut rate garbage. You know, and they also started brewing Falstaff because they bought the whole company lock, stock, and barrel. But I never got to try those things. I imagine they were sort of like what I'm talking about. You could choke it down because you might have been short on money, but otherwise, it's just unbearable. But I can't say that because, like I said, I never had. I had this contract brewed burger beer. Somebody bought the rights to Burger, which was an old Chicago, I think, area brand. It was terrible. Somebody did Rheingold on the cheap. trying to make it look like Rheingold was back. It was horrendous. They brought back Jack's in 1980. I'm sorry, 96. 96. Jack's came back. It was produced by Pearl Brewing in San Antonio, and it was really good. I mean, they did a great job, and I was like, "That's a good beer." But I never saw it again after a couple of months. My father claims Jack's was horrible back in the 1970s. He says, "Oh, Jack's, that was the worst stuff." That was a big brewery down in New Orleans, right at the French Quarter. The building's still there, but they turned into a shopping mall. But he said anytime you drank Jack's, you needed aspirin and paregoric. Aspirin for your headache and paregoric for your stomach trouble. But my grandfather was saying, "Oh no, that stuff was good. That was the best New Orleans beer they had." So that was an argument. But I was 3 years old. Well, I was 6 years old when the brewery closed down, so I really wasn't part of that debate. Obviously, I might have sipped it a few times out the can or bottle if my parents were drinking it, but I have no recollection of it. I only remember sipping Miller High Life, honestly, back around 1970 or whatever, 69, 70, 71, which was always very good. I always thought, as a toddler, I always thought Miller High Life was a wonderful product. It'd be on the back patio, and I'd say, "Give me some." And you'd sip it out the bottle and say, "Oh, that's so good, you know." And like my father says, all babies love beer. All babies love beer. That's his quote. All babies love beer. All right, but this is Scotch, so let's go with the Scotch whiskey. Yeah, I mean, it just tastes like honey top. It smells like honey top wheat bread or white bread, not wheat bread. And grain, just cereal grain, just generalized, non-specific cereal grain. Not a bad aroma, not an off-putting aroma, but nothing remarkable or that you would call your friends and family and say you got to head to Trader Joe's immediately and buy this. It's amazing. No, 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 no. On the other hand, you wouldn't be advising people to avoid it. I wouldn't. Now this has, and no, don't even entertain the idea that either one of these have smoke. There is no smoke at all. Don't even let that thought come in your mind because it won't happen. But this one does have a little peatiness, like a compost pile type thing going on, which could be some Isle of Scotch in it. And if I am not mistaken, I believe the King Robert had that in the past. But it goes 6 months go by and then I'll say, what did King Robert? And I never forget Johnny Walker Red Label. It's got that smoke component, so you don't forget. Johnny Walker Double Black got that even smokier component, so you don't forget that. And then the Johnny Walker Gold Label Reserves got that strong honey flavor. You don't forget that. No, they don't add honey to it. That would be illicit. That would not be allowed. All right, taste time shows. Well, interesting. I am getting a whiff of smoke here. Not in the nose, but in the taste. Can't believe it. But it's there. Unmistakable. Well, oh boy. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Now, with these blended Scotch whiskeys, you see what they do is they can or they do, it's up to the distiller, you see, or the company. Like Trader Joe's said, it tells you on the back of the bottle, we told them basically it says, we told them to make it like this. They're not claiming they make it. They said, we told them to make it like this. All right. But I'll give you an example, like Highland Mist Scotch, Highland Mist, which is pretty common in Metairie, Louisiana. I don't think it's sold in this town. But that one, the bottle says they use single malts from the four they use Highland, Lowland, Speyside, and Isla. Like they'll use a little of that, a little of that, little of that, little of that to give it different character and an all-around taste. So I'm thinking maybe they use a little bit more Isla than normal, perhaps. Tommy Carroll says, "Good morning, Louisiana Liquor Reviews." Good morning to you, Tommy. All right, so that does have that. Now, are blended scotches required to use single malts from all the regions? No, they're required to use single malt. I have never read anything that talked about the percentage requirement. I mean, in the United States, it's a set requirement. It has to be at least 20% what they would call single malt in Scotland, but it uses a different term in the United States, straight whiskey. But I've never seen the British law saying it has to be a specific percentage. But they could use one of the types or more of the types, two of the three. I mean, two of four, three of four, four of four, one of four, whatever. It's just like with blended American whiskey. They can use whatever they want to use. Same thing with bourbon. Can use a lot of rye, a little bit of rye, no rye. You could use up to 49% rye. Couldn't use more than that though to be bourbon, no. So, as long as you follow the specifications, you have latitude for incredible amounts of experimentation. And the variables are basically endless. Not technically endless, but in reality, in a practical sense, endless. So if you say, well, every time I taste these scotches, they're a little different, that would make sense. Generally the same, but specifically different, dependent on style and strength and so forth. Okay, and aging, obviously, and price probably matters. Not as much as you might think, though. My experience is that the price doesn't really matter. Might matter to your bank account, might matter to your monthly budget, but as far as the quality, overall quality, I just think people are getting hosed, But whatever, it's your money. It's my money. The government says, no, it's our money. Yeah, well, that's true. That's how they operate. Do these two taste alike? No, they don't. This one has a more sweet honey flavor with that smoke. Sweeter, smoky, unbelievably, honey-like. Interesting product over here. Now this one has this compost pile taste. I don't like it as much. Don't hate it. Certainly don't hate it. But I'm going to go with the winner over here. Now I think, starting to give me the creeps. I think, both of these. You say why? I don't know. The taste is kind of give me the chills. Give me a chill. But I think I think that's the Trader Joe's. I don't think it's as good. I think the King Robert is the winner. Now I only have 3 wins and 2 losses, so this could even me out, which I hope it doesn't. It didn't. That's the Trader Joe's. So I got to remember now going forward, going in, because I got probably 10 Scotch bottles left. The Trader Joe's has that weird, not weird, that's normal. It's just the normal flavor of Scotch is weird, No, I mean, it's got that compost pile taste. Now, if your bag, as we say in the hipster crowd, we're hipsters because we're very hip. And it's hip to be square. But we say, if your bag, see, when you hear us saying that, we're hip. If it's your bag to taste rotting organic matter, this could be one for you. But if you'd rather taste honey and smoke and rich grain. This might be more appropriate to what you're looking to try. And this is more appropriate to what I'm looking to try. So, yeah, it's not really close, sorry to say. Well, why would I be sorry? I don't care. I had no favorite anyway. But yeah, the King Robert II, you're going to pay the same price per ounce, more or less. Probably more, but it's got a smoky flavor from the Isla, obviously, and some of the honey flavor from, where would that come from? Speyside? I don't know. And rich grain. That's a nice product. Trader Joe's. Well, it's okay. It's nice in its own idiosyncratic way. It's nice. And for whatever reason, the people at Trader Joe's, owned by Aldi, they got samples and they probably told the contractor, that's what we want. That one tastes like rotten eggs and old vegetables and rotting organic matter. That's what we want and that's what we demand. And the company said, we can do it. We can make this whiskey taste like a pigsty. And they said, good. And they said, that's it. You nailed it. Oh, well, yeah, so it's in the B range. You know, it's good. Wouldn't go excellent, but $10.99 a liter. Who's complaining? I'm not. Certainly made an interesting taste challenge. Is it gonna how's it gonna do against 100 Pipers? Oh no, Ballantine's coming up. I got Ballantine's next. The old venerable Ballantine's, you know, Ballantine's Scotch, the regular base model, because it looked like there's 50 different Ballantine's Scotch whiskeys. Seem like it looking at their website, but we just get the regular one here, the basic. I got that whole handle for like $23.99. I'm not joking. Oh, it has no chance. There is no possibility that Trader Joe's blended Scotch whiskey could ever compete with Ballantine's. So if you want to skip tomorrow, Sunday morning, you say, I'm skipping it because it's going to be a total catastrophe, a catastrophe, a disaster. I would agree with that. If you want to watch a blowout, if you want to watch Ballantine's beat down Trader Joe's in a blind taste test, tune in because Ballantine's will destroy it with no questions asked. I'm telling you now, this much I know. Joe Frazier did better against George Foreman than this is going to do. Monday, we're going to bring in a newer product from Chivas Brothers because Ballantine's is made by Chivas Brothers also. It's called 100 Pipers. It's only been around 58 years, haha. But yeah, it's not going to compete against 100 Pipers. No way. J.W. Dant? Nah. Well, it'll be closer, but it won't really compete. All right, well, thanks, everybody. And let's look at the last comments from Tommy. I don't think my bag includes composter. Yeah, correction, compost. Morning, fellas. Good morning, Anna. And thanks for watching, everybody. So Trader Joe's, you gave it a good effort, but you couldn't really compete. I'm sorry, it didn't work out. Now, when I go into the Johnny Walkers, that's when it's going to be a sad situation. I feel sorry for Trader Joe's when that comes along, but that's the way it goes. Thanks, everybody.